Namaskaram, listeners. Nishta Jeeva here. Today's story is called What's in the Grass. The story is about Dave, who is currently in his 30s, and sometimes reminisces, or rather, gets traumatized, thinking about an incident concerning him and his brother Ravi. You see, the brothers Dave and Ravi used to play in the fields where mostly wheat grass and some pulses were grown in rotation. Dave was 7 and Ravi was 10. He and his doting older brother often used to play hide and seek in those tall wheatgrass fields where the crops used to grow to about 6 feet even. And, like always, Ravi would disappear into the field and Dave would pursue. Dave, Dave! Ravi's voice would be heard and Dave would respond. The children weren't the type to listen to their parents either. Rainy day, foggy day, a day where they put insecticides in the fields. It does not stop them. In this playthrough, as usual, thick wheat grass all around. No other thing in sight, except for Ravi's call. Dave moves in the direction of the sound. Then, he notices something. A blade of grass in front of him just disappeared, and within the second came back into view again. He keeps moving in the direction of the playful Dev, Aja. He sees more grass shimmering in and out of existence, as if opening a path. His breath is disturbed, yet he marches on in the hope that he'd be able to find his brother. Then he hears again, Dev, Dev, Aja. That wasn't Ravi's voice. His skin turns pale. He could see and hear the rustling in the blurry grass, and he knows this someone, who is not Ravi, is approaching him. He bolts back, running and puffing, not wanting to scream and give away his location. But what about Ravi Bhaiya? Surely, once he's able to call his parents, that should help everyone, right? Too scared, Dave tried to run the way he came, but nothing looks the way he remembered it. The path that had opened up wasn't there anymore. He made a run for it anyway. And then the voice came again. Dave, tu mere paas aa bhi gaye. He saw the rustling right in front of him again, this time even closer. And then he saw a long, pale hand set aside the grass and a dark figure of a head slowly coming into view. The arm looked so long, it seemed as if he was just a head and an arm boning about in the fields. Dave shouted and ran away, this time not following any direction. He was truly lost in the labyrinth of grass, which seemed to play games with his vision. He shouted, Bhaiya! Bhaiya! He then hears, Dev! Dev, idhar aaja! As if crying for help. His glimpse to the side makes him notice the rustling again, this time progressing toward the voice of Ravi. And then Dave made a decision that he regrets to this day. He ran away from the voice of his brother. Luckily, or unluckily, from the corner of his eye, he noticed a clearing. He ran toward that clearing with all his stamina, and when he reached there, instead of finding himself near the edge of his field and the site of his home or parents, he found himself in a crop clearing deep within the field. And somewhere on the opposite end of the clearing, he saw Ravi, frozen and shivering. Ravi was looking away, clearly too scared to even move. This time, they wanted to muster the courage to shout and call on to him. Before he could shout, Bhaiya! His voice became arrested again when that figure appeared again out of the grass, close to Ravi. The person, if you could call him that, had a long arm, No. He had a small head and tiny limbs as if stunted everywhere else. Dave thinks he spotted tumors along his body, but before he could notice anything else, the face got his attention. It was looking at him, putting a finger on its lips, beckoning Dave from at a distance to stay silent. He leapt forward toward Ravi, and both shimmered out of existence. Dave, in his absolute terror, eventually made out of the field, screaming that his brother was gone, that something or someone took him, but he was never to be found again. Even after all these years, he was believed that something or someone took his brother. Not that they vanished into thin air, or that the grass came alive and was playing games with him. What doesn't help was that a questionable insecticide was sprayed on the field that day, and he speculates his senses were affected by poisoning. What also doesn't help was that their farm was in the same zonal area in Bhopal where a couple of years ago the Union Carbide plant had the infamous chemical accident that killed several people, induced cancer in many victims, and created a generation of deformed human beings from affected mothers who could never find a place in society. It maybe helps join pieces together, but he could never find a definitive answer to the unexplained events witnessed. What haunts Dave most, rather, was his own silence. The face that thing made before getting his brother still scares him. That face could sense his fear, his cowardice, and that finger on its lips sealed it.